The 17 News at Sunrise podcast is brought to you by Clinica Sierra Vista.
Welcome back to the 17 News at Sunrise podcast, where we share your news on your schedule.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Sunrise.
Good morning to you here on this Halloween morning. Good to have you with us. I'm Maddie Jansen alongside Alex Fisher.
And we turn to our 17 Crime Watch. And a car-to-car shooting forced a shutdown of the 99 freeway for several hours Saturday night. A Hall ambulance crew just happened to spot the bullet-ridden vehicle as it passed by. That's according to CHP. There were 4 men inside. 3 of them had been shot. They were taken to the hospital, and CHP does not believe their injuries were life-threatening. The investigation continues, and there is no information on who might have shot at the men or what their vehicle looked like. Anyone with information can call CHP.
In your 17 Court Watch, a Bakersfield man convicted of murder 40 years ago is hoping to be released. Cedric Struggs was convicted of first-degree murder in 1980 after a robbery he was involved in ended in the shooting death of Alfred Joe Dishman. Struggs didn't pull the gun or fire the shots, but he was sentenced to 25 years to life under a rule that allowed a murder conviction if the defendant had committed a dangerous felony that resulted in the death of another person. That law changed in 2019 and is retroactive, meaning those convicted can be resentenced and possibly released. And that's what Struggs is hoping for. A court of appeals ordered his case re-examined in a hearing currently scheduled for November 29th. Struggs is now 60 years old. Since the announcement, his mother has held this sign outside the Kern County Courthouse, waiting for the release of her son.
5:05 now, and House Speaker Nancy Pelosi arrived back at her home in San Francisco last night after spending several hours at the hospital with her husband. Here is new video of Pelosi leaving her home to visit her husband yesterday. 82-year-old Paul Pelosi was violently attacked on Friday when an intruder broke into the Pelosi home in San Francisco. The House Speaker was in D.C. at the time of the attack and left to be by his side. Mr. Pelosi is said to still be recovering after a surgery for a skull fracture. The alleged intruder is believed to have beat him with a hammer. San Francisco District Attorney Brooke Jenkins says she will file attempted murder charges later today.
You need to get off the freeway. You're going to get run over.
Video from early yesterday morning shows a man weaving through traffic on the 405 freeway in a wheelchair. He was spotted around midnight near the Santa Monica Boulevard off-ramp. The man was wheeling in and out of lanes, forcing drivers to slam on their brakes. CHP officers eventually caught up with him near the 10 freeway and took him into custody. It's not clear why he was on the road. There will be lots of trick-or-treating this evening, but it can be extra scary for the 1 in 13 children living with food allergies. There's a way, though, to tell trick-or-treaters you have something special just for them.
I think this is pretty neat. So all you have to do is place a teal pumpkin on your doorstep, and that signals that in addition to candy, you offer non-food trinkets and treats like glow sticks, puzzles, stickers, games, and so forth for all of those trick-or-treating. Experts say it is important to keep those non-food items in a separate bucket to avoid cross-contamination. And by adding your home to the Teal Pumpkin Project map, you are making your house easy to find for those on the hunt for non-food treats. For more information to sign up, remember it's free. All you have to do is go to tealpumpkinproject.org.
Or just go ahead and put that teal pumpkin outside of your house. That lets people know. And amid this exciting spooky season, there's a reason to be deadly serious. There will be a lot of little excited trick-or-treaters running around low-lit streets, many of them in dark costumes.
Yeah, a 2019 review of national highway traffic safety data found pedestrian fatalities are more than 40% higher on Halloween. For kids ages 4 to 8, that risk multiplies more than 10 times. Local law enforcement is on special alert tonight as families take the streets after dark.
We want families, possibly the parents, to maybe carry flashlights with them, even simple things as such like a glow stick to attach to their costume as well, or even something simple as this is a little band that's pretty reflective. We want them to be smart and be seen and be safe.
The California Highway Patrol and Bakersfield Police Department will be putting extra officers on the road tonight looking for drunk or impaired drivers.
Yeah, so important to just slow down and watch for those kids. And there's another danger lurking on the streets that many parents have top of mind this Halloween, the deadly synthetic opioid fentanyl.
Kern Behavioral Health and Recovery Services and Kern County Public Health advises parents to, as always, inspect candy before kids dig in. Adults should look for ripped packaging, pinholes, discoloring, or any unusual appearances. Kern Behavioral Health will be holding several training events for the community to demonstrate how to use Narcan, the opioid reversal nose spray, in the coming weeks. And we'll have more on our website, kget.com.
17 News is your local election headquarters, and just 8 days out from the midterm elections, and rhetoric has been building for months. And now, with only 8 days until the midterm, a brutal attack on the husband of House Speaker Nancy Pelosi is leading to calls for a change of tone. NBC's Drew Petremel has more.
After an attack on the family of a top Democratic Party leader, politicians from both sides of the aisle are taking to the airwaves to condemn the violence.
Well, we've got to figure out how to bring our country back together where we have a civil conversation and, we have no violence. I mean, what happened to Paul Pelosi is despicable. It's unacceptable.
I think it is really important that people realize that it is not just this moment of this horrific attack, but that we have seen violence perpetrated throughout our political system.
The suspect in the attack, 42-year-old David DePop, due in court today, set to face charges that include attempted murder. Police say he broke into the San Francisco home of House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and attacked her husband, Paul. New details in the investigation revealing zip ties were found in the Pelosi home as officials interview the suspect and review his online activity.
So this guy is sort of the picture of radicalization on the internet. 15 years ago, in 2007, he was posting pretty standard anti-war left-wing viewpoints. Then there's a 15-year gap on his blog. And in 2022, he's posting QAnon and Pizzagate.
As heated midterm battles continue across the country, a renewed focus on political violence. U.S. Capitol Police say threats against members of Congress more than doubled in the past 5 years.
We have to do something about this amplification of this election-denying hate speech that we see on the internet.
It's disgusting. This violence is horrible.
As Congress considers new measures to protect elected officials. Mr. Pelosi remains in the hospital this morning. Over the weekend, the Speaker penning a letter to colleagues saying the family was heartbroken and traumatized, but that Mr. Pelosi's condition continues to improve. Drew Petremel, NBC News, Washington.
And our next and final debate is coming up this week. The three candidates running for the Bakersfield City Council Ward 7 seat will be here in our KGET studios for a live debate Thursday at 7 p.m. And facing off will be Tim Collins, Raj Gill, and Manpreet Kaur. If you have any questions you'd like us to ask the candidates, send us an email to 17news@kget.com. Type question for the candidates in the subject line.
There are new details this morning about the deadly crowd surge in Seoul, South Korea. From over the weekend, we are learning 2 American college students are among those killed. The death toll has risen to at least 153. More than 100 others were hurt and several are in critical condition. Thousands had gathered in a popular area to celebrate Halloween. Witnesses say there were too few police officers around to control the sheer mass of people. Authorities say nearly all victims have been identified, most of them in their 20s and 30s, and mostly women. Some experts say the packed, narrow streets of Seoul were a recipe for disaster. For 20 years, Jose Vega was assigned to NYPD's Disorder Control Unit, managing iconic parades and the ball drop on New Year's Eve. Vega says injuries and deaths in these situations are not always from being trampled, but also while squeezed in tight, still upright places.
People start to panic also, so the breathing becomes even worse. So when you can't get a good breath of air, that positional asphyxiation occurs, and that's probably how death and or serious physical injury occurs.
So here are some tips to keep in mind. Stay upright, do not fall down, avoid getting pinned to immovable objects, and go with the flow of the crowd, and keep your arms tied to your chest, protecting your lungs to allow them to get oxygen.
The 17 News at Sunrise podcast is a production of KGET and Nexstar Media Group. For more on all of the headlines in today's show, head to kget.com.